Tonight on NAIT NewsWatch.
Students raising concerns over new mask protocols.
Our main priority right now is safety, especially in this pandemic.
A cancer charity event not for the faint of heart.
Anybody that wants to register, please be ready, okay? Because I'm not going to save you once we're out there.
The Ukrainian community reacts.
This is not just a news story about one country against another country. It is, as I've said already, is very much a challenge to the values that we live by each and every day in Canada and we actually take for granted.
You're watching NAIT NewsWatch.
Good evening. Students and staff across Alberta walked out of their classes on Monday afternoon due to the mask mandates that are being lifted in schools.
The walkout and convergence on the Alberta legislature was in response to the Premier's announcement for reopening the province. Our Brandon Beauchamp joins us live from our news centre with more on that story.
Thanks, Noah. With the province closer than ever to fully reopening, many students and staff all across Alberta have walked out of their classes to protest the mandates that have been dropped. The mask mandates were dropped on February 14th, which is when the walkout took place.
Students, staff, and medical personnel all across Alberta have walked out of their classes to protest the mask mandates that have been lifted in schools on February 14, 2022. As the Alberta public health measures reach stage 2, many students and staff are concerned about their health.
We're hoping that he will bring back the mask mandate in schools and understand that our main priority right now is safety, especially in this pandemic. And saying what kids feel and what kids are actually feeling is two completely different things.
While the campus mandates still remain in place, many university students want Jason Kenney to keep the mask restrictions the same for their safety in classes and around other students.
Well, I hope that the outcome of this protest is going to be, more action happening from the grassroots, from the bottom up, to actually lead to some real changes.
With Jason Kenney's plan to drop most of the public health mandates by March 1st, several of the NDP MLAs have showed their support to the students and medical personnel that attended the event. Former Premier Rachel Notley showed her support online as the students and staff fight for their voices to be heard by Premier Jason Kenney.
Well, we were frustrated. We were fed up with the danger in schools. And we wanted to show the UCP that students care about masks in schools and want masks in schools.
The United Conservative Party of Alberta has had no comments so far on the recent walkouts. The final decision for NAIT about the mask mandates will be left up to campus board members.
So Brandon, can we get an idea of what NAIT might look like after we come back from reading week?
Yes, Julian. Well, as of February 28th, students will still be able to wear masks, but you will no longer be required to have your Vax Pass on campus. So basically, with different students and whatnot, they can definitely wear their mask and not have to worry about having their vaccine QR code with them.
So when it comes to the students across Alberta, what does this mean for them?
Well, unfortunately, Noah, for students in elementary, junior high, and high school, they will no longer be required to wear masks in school, and in classes. And I'd actually talked to a couple students, high school students, at the walkout, and they said that they want to have the mask in school so that they can feel safe going to school in person and be safe around their peers and their teachers.
Thanks, Brandon. That is Brandon Beauchamp reporting live from our news center.
You're watching NAIT NewsWatch, the next generation of news.
Psychiatrists report that youth mental health is suffering, causing psychiatrists to be alarmed.
And mental health is such a juggling act.
Mental health resources and support is taking a major hit. The Alberta Psychiatrists Association says the sector is severely underfunded, putting strains on the healthcare system. The pandemic caused natural balancers and supports for children like sports and other social activities to disappear, but it's not all bad.
this age group, 18 to 24 to 25 to 22 to 25, this age group is probably an age group that is particularly appreciated that now appointments can be virtual because it's more reachable.
But many others prefer in-person appointments and suffers from its loss. Other aspects of the increase of pandemic-related mental health issues is a new rise of eating disorders. Psychiatrists are asking for more support from the government to ease the mental health issue.
NAIT is trying to connect better with the LGBTQ+ community with a new mentorship program called Queers and Peers. The program pairs up participating NAIT staff and instructors who are knowledgeable about the community with those who aren't.
The goal is to pair up potential mentors and mentees to have ongoing relational conversations about queer issues and kind of create a space that people could ask questions that might be harder or too awkward to ask.
Pairs will check in with each other virtually over the span of 2 months. The program is designed to help staff connect with their students and to be more inclusive.
After the World Juniors was shut down at the end of 2021 because of COVID concerns, the International Ice Hockey Federation has announced the tournament will be back to Alberta this summer. It's not often the City of Champions gets the opportunity to host an international event like the World Juniors, but when it does, local businesses downtown get a significant boost as fans and international guests trickle in. The Gardens, a pub so new they have yet to replace the old sign, eagerly await the event.
It's a place to go. It definitely brings business in, like any large-scale event does. I remember the 2006 playoff run for the Oilers. We were lined up every second day for 2 months.
As people come together to have a drink while watching a game, local bars like the Gardens prepare to host the extra crowds. The World Juniors are set to bring business all across downtown, from sports bars hosting fans, to hotels hosting players, to bus companies moving them from place to place.
Tensions are at a boiling point between Russia and Ukraine, and the potential of war has the Ukrainian-Canadian community here in Edmonton on edge. A large concentration of Russian forces near the Ukrainian border has sparked fears of another war in Europe. The Ukrainian-Canadian community, tied together by community centers and the Orthodox Church, are calling on their fellow Canadians to step up.
I think most important for the general Canadian community is to understand that this is not just a news story about one country against another country. It is, as I've said already, is very much a challenge to the values that we live by each and every day in Canada and we actually take for granted.
Demonstrators in Alberta have made their feelings clear in a show of solidarity with Ukraine in the face of invasion. With all of the uncertainty in the air, it's impossible to know what Putin has planned.
If you are a thrill seeker, one thing on your bucket list might be visiting Mount Everest. But Mount Everest coming to you is not too far-fetched. Last year, the charity raised over $13,000 for breast cancer and want to raise even more money for myeloma cancer this year. They're hosting an event of a 44.5-kilometer hike to simulate the distance to climb Mount Everest.
I recommend anybody that wants to register, please be ready, okay? Because I'm not going to save you once we're out there. Like, I'll help you, but I'm not going to save you because I have to focus at 54 years old to finish it myself.
The hike will take participants through the horse trails in the River Valley, Horlack Park, and end at the Fairmont Hotel downtown. This event will happen on February 26th, and it may even take place in other cities and potentially even Iceland in the coming years.
Coming up after the break, we have a look at renewable energy initiatives.
NAIT is at the forefront in this field.
We have things that happen on campus. We've got buildings, we've got facilities, we've got operations. How do we integrate the student experience into what happens at NAIT?
Coming up this week in sports, we got the men's volleyball team already secured their spot into the postseason. Meanwhile, here at the arena, we got the men's hockey team still waiting to clinch their spot into the postseason as well. Plus, the Edmonton Prospects have a new name for their new home. All that and more coming up in sports.
Coming up next, we have your Family Day weekend weather update. We'll tell you just how many layers you're gonna need.
Welcome back, everybody. Anyone outside today definitely would have seen the winter storm that we would have seen coming in. Julian, did you get that?
I definitely did, yeah. I'm one of the few Canadians who never learned how to skate, and I just hate the ice with a burning passion, and I mean burning. So with this recent weather, it's really thrown me for a loop.
Yeah, I've been skating with my car on the hen day. Anyways, for more on that, we've got Ian Tidswell, our weatherman today. Ian?
Thank you, gentlemen. Well, starting off, we're all heading out different places for the long weekend all across the province, and you're going to want to be very careful in your travels, especially around Calgary. They've got about a 60% chance of showers, averages in the morning lows and highs, but you will need to be careful. That precipitation carries on over to Jasper, where they continue to be seasonable. Saturday might be an okay day to ski, especially if you're up on Marmot or so. Now, the sob story of the year, Fort McMurray. It has been frigid, absolutely frigid, all year long, and this is no exception. Now, back to our hometown, Edmonton, where we're sitting right about where we should be for the year. In years past, it got as high as 14 in 1916. And back right when they were finishing the CPR, it got all the way down to minus 38. As a special treat to finish off my segment, we'll take a look at what the weather will be in Beijing for the closing ceremonies, where it's a little warmer than it is here. And the coldest point it'll be all week in Beijing as athletes make their way home. Go Team Canada. Back to you guys.
NewsWatch Weather is brought to you by NR92. Something worth sharing.
Well, the Alberta government has announced new environment initiatives this week. Well, NAIT is stepping up to be a part of the new clean energy venture. The Student Energy's Venture pilot program teaches students how to create a more sustainable future.
A couple of NAIT's alternative energy technology program students have taken the lead on a new rooftop solar project. Our AJ Muncie has a story.
Clear air and clean energy is the way of the future, and while Alberta has some of the best sunlight in the country for solar electricity, students are why NAIT is the first to say yes to a new clean energy endeavor.
We want to do as much at NAIT that is real world as possible. And here's a project that's literally like set up an actual, solar project, do all the work that is involved with that. And that's exactly the kind of thing that a subsection of our alumni are going to do for a career.
Student Energy Ventures is a government-funded program that encourages the active involvement of students in clean energy projects throughout Western Canada.
Our goal is we've set an organizational goal of trying to help kickstart 10,000 youth-led clean energy projects by the end of the decade. And NAIT's project number 1 for us, which is pretty cool.
Students of NAIT's alternative energy program, Ethan Buchanan and Jack Harding, will lead the project, an initial guide to helping other students and institutes set up solar resources.
I had no clue about how important this project would be. I just thought it was working with a company to work on one of their other projects. I didn't think it would be something as important as this.
The project, which will be set up on NAIT's roof, will be commissioned in May of this year, and project designs and delivery documents will be published and available for those curious about creating their own sustainable project.
Part of what we're trying to do is to show that a large part of it can be done by pretty well anyone.
It's cool to start it off, be the first people to do it, and to hopefully what we do will be useful for many other students at other institutions.
Cities and towns are also doing their part for efficient energy consumption. Places like the St. Albert Service Credit Union Place, Calmar's Mike Carbonic Arena, and Devon's Dale Fisher Arena have all installed solar panels within the past year.
We're reducing the effects of climate change by not contributing as much in terms of pollutants as you would be with a coal or a natural gas energy source.
Going forward, NAIT's sustainability effort hopes to decrease the waste and increase its use of natural resources.
Reusable resources are the way of the future, and with NAIT blazing a trail in clean energy, now is the time for students to indulge in economical possibilities and ask themselves, what do they want to see for the future? For NAIT NewsWatch, I'm AJ Muncie.
With the playoffs quickly approaching, it's an exciting time for a sports fan here at NAIT.
That's right, Noah. Plus, the Edmonton Prospects have a new name for their new home. Adil Ahmed has the latest for sports.
Thanks, boys. Playoffs are just around the corner for sports here at NAIT. The men's volleyball team locked up first seed in the ACAC, while another team at NAIT is still finishing off their regular season. The men's volleyball team have concluded their phenomenal regular season, finishing as the best collegiate team in the province with a 14-2 record under first-year coach Jordan Taylor. For some players, it's a good time to recover and get prepared for the task ahead.
You know, it's been a long season, a taxing season, first season back for a lot of guys since the COVID year. So we're going to make sure that guys' bodies are rested up and healthy, and then we're going to game plan as best we can against our potential opponents to come at them with as much devastation as we can.
The men's team will be playing their first playoff game here at home for the first time in 3 years on Sunday, March the 6th. Meanwhile, next door, the men's hockey team is looking to clinch their spot into the playoffs. The men's hockey team played against the Concordia Thunder on Wednesday night, winning by a score of 4-1, as they now have a league-best 11-1 record on the season. Despite their outstanding record, forwards like Tyler Robinson still know the importance of every game going forward.
We treat every game like it's a playoff game because we feel that that's the best way to prepare. So we're going to come out every day and every practice just preparing for the playoffs.
The team's next and final home game of the regular season takes place tomorrow night at 6 p.m. when they take on the Augustana Vikings. As for the other sports teams, here's how the playoff picture looks for them. The women's basketball team are still waiting to get in as they are fourth in their division, while the men's team are still battling for their spot. Lastly, for the women's volleyball, they have been eliminated as of last week. The long wait is over for the Edmonton Prospects. They have got a ballpark of their own under construction and will now have a new name for it.
Mike Jr. to come up and say a few words, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado.
Mike Shack Metro Ballpark will be the new name for the Edmonton Prospects' new home. After playing in different ballparks like Centennial Park for the last 2 seasons, the team will finally have the field of their dreams out in Spruce Grove. It's something that the Prospects are looking forward to.
That's really where we see the positive in this, is the inspiration it brings to kids for one, but also the community. And as far as business is concerned, we're hopeful that this spurs more business in the community. So win-win all across the board.
The Prospects were set to open their new ballpark this year. However, due to COVID-19, that date has been pushed back to May 27th of 2023. Crazy. That's pretty much sports for this week, but it's kind of a curveball how the Prospects kind of have a home out in Spruce Grove. They're still called the Edmonton Prospects, so hey.
Well, yeah, I guess it's. I know there are a couple of NHL teams that don't technically play in the city that they're in, especially with Arizona having to move arenas as of recent.
Exactly. Yeah, right on. And Julian, with Ooks volleyball kind of getting set for the playoffs, we both commentate all that stuff. It's pretty exciting how playoffs is just around the corner, hey?
It's very exciting. I'm still learning a little bit of volleyball here and there, but with the men's team having absolute cannons for arms, it's fun to watch.
Yeah, right on. Well, if you excuse me, boys, I'm gonna go hit some dingers. Love you, boys.
Seattle. Coming up after the break, we send our SJ and Nazal to give roller skating a try.
Most of our people who are taking lessons are adults, so we have beginner and then intermediate, and then we also have roller dance.
Manuela, and today on Entertainment, we take a tasty bite of the continent of Africa and we take a twirl in the winter snow. All that and more coming up. Stay with us.
You're watching NAIT NewsWatch, the next generation of news.
Welcome back to NAIT NewsWatch. Normally, this sport is reserved for the summer months, but thanks to the new space, you can enjoy it at any time of the year.
SJ Nazal is on a roll. Let's see how she makes out as she tries roller skating for the first time.
Hi, I'm SJ Nazal, and for this week's Try This segment, we're going to try roller skating.
With roller skating being a summer activity, an indoor rink is very much needed. Some skaters visit for the sport.
It's fun. I don't know, I just have always loved it. It's a fun sport.
And some skate for the aesthetic.
I like all the lights.
And Roller's roller rink offers lessons to new skaters.
Most of our people who are taking lessons are adults.
Before we started our lesson, I got into the gear that was provided to me by the rink. I got the roller skates, knee pads, wrist protectors, and of course, my helmet. Now that I have my gear on, I'm ready to learn.
So the first thing I'm going to teach you is how to fall properly.
There's only one safe way to fall, which is forward onto the knees, fingers wide open, hands down. This is where the protective gear comes in handy.
But you fell properly. Now to stand up from here, take both your hands, put them on top of your knee, put your chin over top of your hands and keep it there, and then push and straight up.
You just have to trust the process on this one.
Good, beautiful. To skate in a forward motion, you're basically shifting your weight from your left foot to your right foot.
Now that I know how to move, how do I stop?
To stop, take either your left foot or your right foot, turn it, and drag it behind you.
Now that I know how to safely fall, get up, skate forward, and stop, all I have to do is keep practicing and keep improving.
Doing better than some of my first.
Reading Week is just around the corner. Here are some activities around the city to make the break a little more interesting.
Our Emanuela Osamudiaman is here to tell us more on what's to come.
Thanks, guys. A new exhibit down at the Telus World of Science has just opened up to the public with a bit of a bigger and healthier touch to it. Quentin Schroeder gives us a preview of the new exhibit and aims to inspire a generation to protect and improve the health of others in the community.
Expanded, reimagined, and ready to be explored. The public got its first look at the Telus World of Science's newest building additions earlier this week.
Today is really the culmination of about 7 years worth of work. We started talking about it and planning in 2014.
Health Zone is the newest exhibition at the Science Center as part of the ongoing building expansions. Former Edmonton Mayor Don Iveson and his city council were instrumental in helping start funding for the project 7 years ago.
I think the new health gallery is obviously very timely, understanding how our bodies work and how health systems work.
Grade 2 students from a local elementary were invited to roam the new gallery. Mikhail was one of many students wearing a purple lab coat wandering the health zone. He went on to tell us why many of the junior scientists were playing with the very popular interactive heartbeat exhibit.
Because it's pretty cool because it can sense your heart.
The health zone puts visitors as the focus of their own health story. Guests learn the various elements such as your biological makeup to surrounding environments and how they all influence one's current and future health.
If we're doing our job right, we're giving you glimpses beyond what you normally see and giving you a chance to, again, sort of help make sense of the world.
The health zone is also intended to inspire. After his visit, Mikhail says he wants to help the future generation.
I want to be a doctor.
The Telus World of Science has continued to grow and evolve since it first opened in 1984. The current multi-million-dollar expansion will see the center grow 20% in size. While some might argue that's a lot to spend on a science center, seeing the smiles and hearing the children laugh as they run through the building is priceless. NAIT NewsWatch, Quentin Schroeder.
With Black History Month coming to an end soon, one event wants to take you to the root of it all. Taste of Africa is an event in St. Albert that celebrates the diversity of Africans, Caribbeans, and its descendants, with different foods, art, and poetry. They say the best way to connect with each other's culture is through food, and with that, you learn each other's similarities and differences.
Everyone should embrace the diversity and include everyone, and how you do it is by learning about all the cultures. You know, sometimes you don't want to taste other people's food. Just go out of your way to taste their food. You know a little bit more about them.
The event is on Saturday, February 26th at 4 p.m. and tickets can be found at tickets.stalbert.ca. Edmonton's favorite festival of the season is back and ready for action. Silver Skate Festival is a 10-day event built on showing the fun of the outdoors with the cold of the winter snow. With recreational activities, art, and live performances, This is not some fun you'd want to miss.
Come every year to admire the snow sculptures. And it's a wonderful opportunity to spend time with friends outside, enjoying the weather and enjoying this wonderful park that we perhaps don't appreciate during the wintertime.
The festival is excited to be able to bring back most of the things that we love to see, and with a couple of days left, they want to make sure this winter is one for the books. So how do you guys plan on spending your winter break?
Well, I mean, as much as I wish I could just pop into a plane and fly wherever I wanted to, we all know this job doesn't exactly pay the best.
Yeah, for sure. For the reading week, though, I'm definitely going to try to catch up on all the homework that we have. And yeah, thank you very much for your entertainment segment.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, that's our show for this week. Thank you for joining us, and we hope to see you again next week. Next week for more local coverage.
Remember to visit naitnewswatch.ca for updates. Stay safe, everyone. Have a good reading week, and good night.